Welcome to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good in our community. And we're kicking it off talking about the Women's Business Enterprise Council South. We are joined by their president and CEO, Phala Mire. And Phala, how are you doing?
I am great, Jeremy. Thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely. So we get to dive into empowerment, entrepreneurship, scaling businesses and building cities. There's so much around what you do, but let's start with a little bit. Give us some national context and then obviously tie that to the local efforts, but give us some background on the Women's Business Enterprise Council South.
Sure. So WBEC South, for short, is the regional partner organization for a national organization that certifies women-owned businesses. And that's the Women's Business Enterprise National Council, or WBEC. A lot of acronyms go on in this place. But they are the national certifying body for women-owned businesses that is one of the premier certifications for women in the country. And so we are the region that covers the 5-state territory of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, and the Florida Panhandle. And we've got just under 1,000 certified WBEs in our area, and that number grows every day.
Share a little of the importance of the certification in terms of what that means for accountability, credibility. What does that certification mean?
Well, first of all, it is a valid statement that you are who you say you are. And so for entities, business organizations that are at least 51 or more % owned by a woman or a group of women, this is the certification for you. And so what that does is that it says to the world that you are a woman-owned business, which, as you know, very important to consumers these days, but more importantly for corporations, for government entities who have goals with doing business with women-owned businesses. It is an assurance that they can contract with you and report those numbers to their federal reporting agencies with no worries that they are misreporting their spend with women-owned businesses. And so we are that organization that kind of brings buyers and suppliers together. We're that liaison between the two. And so we not only certify women-owned businesses, we help develop them into larger, more competitive businesses that really can compete for corporate contracts.
Before we dive into the programs, back up and look at it from a macro level. I think it's something that obviously is something we should all understand in terms of the importance of giving women opportunities and supporting women. But when you look at the number of women, the opportunities that haven't existed in the past, and so evening the playing field and giving women an opportunity to really succeed, talk about some of those ripple effects and big kind of reasons that the community should really focus in on this as a very, very important topic. So talk about kind of the importance of what you do.
Yeah, well, right now, there's really no better time to be a woman entrepreneur because people really are focusing on intentional spend and intentional buying. And a lot of that is around women-owned enterprises, primarily because I think we have now fully recognized the value of women-owned businesses and what they bring to the table, understanding that women entrepreneurs often hire other women that they give back to their own communities in higher proportion than some other businesses. And so they really are about building community. And so when you're looking at investing in cities, investing in municipalities, investing in neighborhoods, really supporting women-owned businesses is going to get you to that place. So if you're really looking at intentional spend, buying from women-owned businesses is definitely the way to go. And we have documented proof that, women-owned businesses do contribute on levels that people don't really understand in terms of job creation and in terms of what they're paying in taxes and giving back to their communities. And so we track that and we keep up with that. But more importantly, we want to just make sure we promote that to the world so that they understand the value.
Is there a certain stat or group of stats or maybe just something in general that you wish everyone knew in terms of your efforts and the importance of this?
I don't know that there's a particular stat. I think that people are often, surprised to know that, women generate economic impact in the billions, and it really does make a difference depending on where you are in the region. But, when we're talking about billions of dollars in economic impact, when we're talking about hundreds of thousands of jobs that are created by these business enterprises, you really have an understanding that women are impacting so much in our communities and that they really are creating and generating wealth for other women who are very often the heads of their own households, raising children in these communities, volunteering in these communities. And so we're creating wealth in communities as well.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Let's dive into the program. Start with WB Collective.
All right, my favorite subject. So we have a few programs at WBEC South that we focus on, and one that we kind of fell into quite by accident, but has been just phenomenal, is our women's co-working space. And so when we were looking for a different office space, we decided to expand on that. And wouldn't it be great if we could provide women with an opportunity to work around each other, to work around other women in a space that was a safe space for them to not only meet each other, but to grow their own businesses without fear of competition or, understanding that this was indeed a safe space. And so we have plenty of resources at our collectives. We opened the first one in 2019 in New Orleans, and I was so excited that we were able to open the second one in Nashville. However, it was during a pandemic, so a little bit off to a kind of a slow start there, but things have been really bouncing back in both of the cities. And so we're really encouraged by the traction and the activity. And so now we have tenants in each of the locations. We are fully engaged with the community of women who are part of the WB Collective, and they are helping each other grow as well.
Talk about the WB Marketplace.
Our marketplace is another option that you have when you join WBEC South, and that really is a marketplace. It's an online marketplace for women-owned businesses. And so anyone who's looking to purchase women-owned products or services can find those at the WB Marketplace, and that literally is wbmarketplace.com. Very easy to remember, but it will take you to a marketplace that is all women-owned. So everything from engineers to florists to caterers, you can find a woman-owned business.
And then you have Women's Business Center South. So give us a little bit on that, especially in Memphis.
Yeah, we have two grant programs, and I'll tell you about the Women's Business Center South first. That's our Sba Grant Program, and we're in partnership with the Sba to operate a women's center in Memphis. And hopefully, I'll be announcing very soon our opening for the Nashville Women's Business Center. So again, two programs that are impacting Tennessee, I think, in really pivotal ways in terms of our ability to reach out and engage women entrepreneurship communities.
And then you also have Enterprising Women of Color, which is an important piece of the equation as well. So talk about that.
Yeah, that's our national program, actually. That is a partnership with the U.S. Department of Commerce Minority Business Development Agency. Enterprising Women of Color focuses specifically on ethnic minority women who are either starting or operating businesses. And our role is to help them grow and develop. And so many of the services that we provide through our other programs are available to our Enterprising Women of Color.
Give me one or two success stories that stand out. They can be recent or past, but that really illustrates your impact.
Well, I think there are so many success stories. Literally, we would take all of your time and more to talk about. But I can tell you that there are a lot of success stories coming out of the pandemic, particularly for women-owned enterprises. The pivoting that they did during the pandemic has just been amazing. And so we found the resiliency in these women entrepreneurs has just been tremendous. And we have watched businesses change and grow and expand into other areas. And so businesses that at one point didn't know if they were going to last beyond the pandemic and the shutdown have actually grown their business, and they've expanded into new markets, are doing business with new clients. And so we love those stories. We've been telling a lot of those stories. Recently, I can tell you that we are, experiencing some recovery and some resiliency as it pertains to natural disasters in our area. Hurricane Ida being the most recent. But again, the women entrepreneurs are stepping up to the plate. They are filling in the gaps where there are some. There are emergency and first responders in a lot of cases, helping with the cleanup and helping with people rebuild their lives and their communities. So we're really proud of our women entrepreneurs.
When you look at the effort on your end, I think a big part of this too is paving the way for the future generations, because when you start seeing women succeed and all the efforts that you put into giving them the support network, the marketing, the best practices, even down to the co-working spaces and the financial investments as well, for the next generation to be able to see, okay, wait a second, these women are succeeding and look at how they're persevering and, scaling through the pandemic. I think there is an inspiring piece to what you're doing as well for the next generation, which I think is a cool element of this, paving the way for even greater success with future generations. When you look at the ways the community can help, kind of carry that forward into how can we be a part of all the good that you're doing?
Oh, well, I will tell you that we consider ourselves to be a support to women-owned businesses. And so we are that organization that they can lean on and go to for resources, for help and assistance, technical assistance, in certain cases. And so for anyone looking to, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. So anyone can, donate or contribute in support of women-owned businesses. But more importantly, we want the corporate community to get involved because we want them to be very intentional in their spend with suppliers, in particularly looking at women-owned suppliers. We can help them find them. We can help engage and broker their contracts. And so we want to make sure that we are bringing those two together. So we look to engage in our corporate communities wherever we are, and then grow the number of certified women-owned businesses that we have, because again, it creates and enhances our own ecosystem, but it also gives more opportunities for the people in that ecosystem to do business with each other. We call that intentional spend with women-owned businesses. And we stand behind that, and we, really promote that 365 days of the year.
For women who have a dream of starting their own business, who want to be entrepreneurs, who see, kind of like going back to the next generation, who see the efforts in the women succeeding, what are some words of encouragement, words of advice for them as, future entrepreneurs? What advice would you give them?
Well, I got to tell you, this new generation is coming out and they are full of entrepreneurial energy. It is amazing to see how many young women are looking to start their own businesses right out the gate, coming out of college. We're really encouraged by that. I would say to them that just keep going on that path, follow their dreams. When they believe in an idea, follow that path and do whatever they can to make that work. People have this, misunderstanding sometimes that, women-owned businesses or any diverse-owned businesses are small. But we've got literally billion-dollar women-owned businesses certified in our national network. And so, this is something that really is not limiting in any way. Entrepreneurship is definitely the way to build wealth, not only personal wealth, but again, wealth in your communities.
Absolutely. How has this work changed you personally?
Uh, a lot. Actually, I think I fell into this work and had no intention of doing this. I was on my way to going to law school and some other things, and, just kind of fell into it in the nonprofit world. First of all, love the work that I'm doing here. But in particular, coming to WBEC South about 5 years ago, working with women entrepreneurs has just been the most gratifying and fulfilling professional endeavor that I've ever had. And so I am constantly amazed and encouraged and just in awe of the women business owners that we have in our community. They've got some amazing stories, and we just want to be there to help tell them.
And you bring up an interesting point too of kind of the nonprofit side, where so many of these women-owned businesses, like you mentioned, invest heavily in the community, are focused on change in the community in a good way. Mm-hmm. Kind of carry that thought forward of just the power of investing in the community, but also too using their corporations as catalysts to transform the community. And so I feel like that is a really cool element of this is the companies being able to transform the community, and that being a major purpose-driven platform.
Oh, absolutely. Corporate America is very interested in the footprint where they are leaving their mark, and so we want to make sure that we are helping them maximize their economic impact in a community, and they know that they are doing that, and it can be documented in terms of really calculating the economic impact that a corporation or a group of corporations can have when they invest in women-owned businesses in that community. The spend that they have replicates and multiplies throughout the community. And so again, it results directly in job creation, but indirectly in other jobs being created, because as these businesses grow, they need more suppliers, they do business more in the community. And so other jobs are created. So there's a direct and an indirect economic impact to all of the spend that corporations do with women-owned businesses.
Absolutely. Wrap up with website. Where do we go to learn more about Women's Business Enterprise Council South?
Oh, okay. Very easy. You go to WBECSouth.org. That's WBEC.org. You can find all of the things that I just discussed at WBECSouth.org.
We'll greatly appreciate all you do for the community. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us. Look forward to being on again.